Ciao, Ni Hao, Yasu, Bonjour, Guten Tag. My name is Lydia, and I'm your host of the Global Travel Junkie podcast, where we'll discover new luxury destinations and experiences together. So let's get started and meet today's guest. Hello, everyone. This is Lydia with the Global Travel Junkie podcast and YouTube channel. And today I'm super excited to introduce you to this wonderful, innovative man, Eric Harari. Hi, Eric.
How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm so excited, you guys, for y'all to learn what all Eric has been up to, all the innovation, all the cool aspects of his luxury resort. So today we're going to talk about the Tremblant in Canada. So Eric, will you take a moment and first just let the audience get an idea of your background and where all of this came from, you know, where you started and where you are at today.
Okay, perfect. So it's Bel Air Tremblant. So first off, I started my career in as a lawyer and then in financial services, nothing to do with what I'm doing right now. For the past 25 years, I decided that I didn't want to depend on the stock market or futures, and decided to start working in real estate. And from one thing leading to the other, I developed some vacation rental business back in 1999 in Miami. I was probably one of the first company doing this vacation rentals all year, 10 years before Airbnb. And anyway, back in 2009, I got a chance to come to Mont Tremblant and I fell in love with the region. I said, I should do some business there, not knowing exactly what to do. And I acquired this big piece of property. It was 500 acres. And I kept 100 acres to create something that was just coming out of my mind. And with an empty land, I said, what can I do? And I started to, again, with the help of my traveling throughout the world, I knew that this was a magic time, that the land was magical. I believe in two energy, and not all lands are created equal. So having found the great piece of land, I just wanted to create something that was really new, innovative, things that people have not seen before. And I just let my mind, just fly away and on the creative path to try to find the right thing. So we started by creating what I called a mini loft, which is a small house, a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, and 4-bedroom, but that were for mountain kind of cottage was very, very different. Everything was about modernism. I want everything to be modern. All the houses had to be different because I wanted people to experience different feelings in different homes. And that's pretty much, how the concept started. So from there on, I one day, it was back in 2019. The project started in 2018. In 2019, I looked at those domes somewhere, and I said, "Oh, those are cool." So I bought some of 3 domes actually, put it for rent, and I just put a lot of attention on the details. I designed the whole inside with the furniture. I wanted furniture to be round, to be very classy, elegant, and to provide a luxury glamping. This is how they call this, a luxury glamping experience.
Yes, I love that term. Yeah, for those who don't really like camping, but you want to be in nature, right? You get to glamp.
Exactly. I mean, this is really nothing to with camping. You stay in, from 400 square feet to 750 square feet. Big tent with everything that you might need, might want, and the space with this.
Yeah, it's so amazing. I can't wait till our listeners go to your website and just see the video and see everything that you're offering. I understand that this is near. Let's talk a little bit more about logistics. Like, where would people be traveling to? So it's in Canada, and you said it was a resort of ski resort, right? The area was. So
Yes,
let's talk about logistics. Where
sure.
where do people fly to, for instance, and where? How do they get there?
It's very interesting. I mean, this is in Quebec. Quebec is on the east coast of Canada. It's about 45 minutes flight from New York. So it's very easily accessible from New York. I'm
Yeah.
actually from Miami, and that's how I discovered the place. I didn't want to go to a place that was too far. Uh, Arriving in Montreal, you have the highway, and it's around 80 miles, so it should take around an hour and a half. And Mont Tremblant is the number one ski resort in eastern, North America. This is also the place. This would be categorized as the Hamptons of Montreal, where people can go ski. It's a really season destination where people actually enjoy the winter, the summer, the four seasons, really.
It's amazing when you were telling me that you started this in 2018. Did I hear you say that right?
Well, I started the construction in 2018, but it took me almost 9 years to get the project approved from the government because Canada and Quebec is very protective about the environment, and also what I wanted to do. This is the most difficult part. Just does not exist. Did not exist when you come with a dome or a pod. The pod for me is a 500 square foot house, 600 square foot house that is designed specifically, that I design everything specifically for a resort or a lodging or hotel for the hospitality. But it breaks all the mold. They don't know what it is. The municipalities don't know. Is that a tent? Do you need to have camping? But a house should be 800 square feet. So really, it is intense. Or the most difficult part is the zoning part of it. To try to share with the municipalities what is that you're doing, because they don't know.
We were talking earlier, you're all about innovation. And so you get to create what your mind comes up with. And that by itself has lots of challenges, right? Because you imagine something first and then you got to figure out how to make it. It's like reverse engineering.
Absolutely. And for the project again, because my only motive was to bring innovation to that, and to bring things that, understanding the trends and where we at, in 2018, understanding that, people, it's more about experiential traveling than anything else.
Yes.
People, nowadays, I believe, are not into staying in a traditional hotel. I'm sure a room is a room. It's to live different experiences, rather. So I very quickly wanted to create something where you could connect with the nature. So this is why those domes are, like isolated. You wake up in the morning, the views are the most important part. This is how I design everything, just to make sure that when you wake up in the morning, you're in your bed, you're going to see just the wonderful nature around you. So feeling like you're in camping, but you're in the luxury, element.
That's amazing. And, I agree. I mean, one of the reasons I started this podcast, and it's fairly new, it's because we are so inundated with technology and people and cars and busy. And like, think about New York, all these people crowded in one little city in an island. But when it's time to relax and you need to get away, you're going to need to go somewhere that does not have people but has nature, so that you can regroup and get your brain right, get your mind right, to go tackle the rest of your year. You know what I mean? So I agree with you that this is the future of what people will really need. It's not just wanting it, they will need it, in my opinion, for survival, because our brains have too much going on in them, so much information, right? So,
Absolutely. And one of the things that was very important, in the beginning of the thinking, is the place that I've chosen is a place where time, I can't explain how, but time slows down. You,
yeah.
you get into the Laurentians, and as soon as you're on the highway, getting into the mountains, time slows down.
Everything
Exactly.
just kind of decompresses, right?
Exactly. And the
Yeah.
other thing is, for example, in 2019, I was talking with my team. I said, I want to have a farm. And so my urbanist, everybody was mocking me, sending me photo with me and, tools to do farming.
Like a pitchfork.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
exactly. But my vision was exactly as what you're describing, that by bringing people outside of their you know other their environment, you take those stressed people, you bring them to the farm, and after 5 minutes you see them immediately. They're just, everything goes, they're just totally liberated, they're freed. Some of them, I've never lived this when I was a kid because I was living in Paris. But the stress just goes away. You see the animals. So again, I bought, every year I'm buying some more animals. I bought some alpacas, then some goats, and then I saw the most beautiful cows. I said, with hairy cows. I said, I want those cows. So I
Oh,
bought
I
those
love
cows.
those.
We have ponies, we have horses, and every year, so people really decompressed with that. They just they feel very much more in connection with the nature. And right now, for example, and this is what have been exactly defining what we're doing, is I'm just evolving. I'm just like water. And right now we're just opening up a ranch in at the end of middle of June, where we're gonna offer some horseback riding, some pony riding, just adding more experiences. And what I wanted to do, which is a bit challenging, but Mont Tremblant was very known. And as a joke, I was saying, one day I want people to say, "Oh, I'm going to Mont Tremblant. Oh, Mont Tremblant next to Bel Air Tremblant." That's what I wanted to do, as a joke. But
I,
I'm kind of,
I'm going to hold that vision with you. I can see that happening. So, I wanted to tell you that being an innovator, it's lonely at the top, right? Because you're actually creating from nothing, and people don't understand what is necessarily in your head. And so, I wanted to tell you that I see, because I told you earlier, I've been working in sustainability for 15 years. And I actually understand when you're talking, I understand what solutions you're solving that people don't even know the problems are there yet, right? So, for instance, I don't know if you know this, Eric, but there's an article, you can Google it, by The Guardian, that by 2030, which is only 7 years away, there is going to be a 40% global water crisis. People don't understand this. They don't believe it. They haven't heard about it. No one in the media is really talking about it. The Guardian is the one who wrote it, and they're an independent press. So, what you're creating, and you and I were talking, let's talk about this hydroponic farm that you want to do. You're creating sustainability. You're creating a place that maybe other hotels might not be able to keep up with, right? Keep as
they
far
can't.
as destinations.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to rebound on what you were saying, because it's very interesting. For 2009 until 2019, I would talk to people in Mont Tremblant, my friends, people around me, and I would talk with my passion about what is that I want to do, like a dreamer.
Yeah.
And I looked at the people's eyes, and I could see in their eyes, this guy is totally crazy. You want to do that? Sure, no problem. Yeah, no problem. But I felt that I knew what I was doing, and somehow, I think this added to the challenge. By 2020, not that I believe any of this, because what I'm doing is just feeling trance. I was lucky to travel. I'm very curious. I'm very hardworking. But my status changed in 2020. People start to call me, "Oh, you're a genius. You're a visionary." And I said, "No, no. I'm just working. I'm just very hardworking, very, very much. I understand, marketing. I understand the hotel industry. I understand the vacation rental industry, and I'm just working very, very hard." But back in 2020, during COVID, my phone kept ringing every single day. I got people calling me. I'm in Costa Rica. I have 2,000 acres. Can you help me? I am Dominican Republic. They call me from Iran, from Saudi Arabia, from a lot of different places, which was a little bit unsettling because, again, I was in my stuff, investors coming, bank, equity fund, hospitality group. I'm talking about, managers of large companies that advise hotels. Tell me, you got something incredible. Let me introduce you with the Hyatt or Marriott and I'm like, here, say, oh, hold on. Okay. This works because I'm connected with what I do, that I'm doing a market analysis, but it's not a formal market analysis. So I'll just give you an example. Back 2 years ago, I came and I said, I think, because I'm in developing experiences. So we created an activity center where we offer, ATVs and kayaking and e-bikes and a lot of activities. We became the number one, if you go to TripAdvisor, 2022 TripAdvisor Award of Excellence. We had the same thing for the spa, with the best ranked spa in Mont Tremblant with 5 stars. Our restaurant, and this is where I'm coming from, I ask people, I want to do a Japanese restaurant, to people that are in the business. And they ask me, you want to do a Japanese restaurant?
In the mountains.
Mountains? I said, yes. But I designed it, just coming back from Japan. I took everything in there, and I designed my version of a traditional Japanese restaurant. And I know Japanese food, but I'm not an hotelier or a restaurateur.
Or restaurateur, yeah.
Yeah. But, I have the best reviews that exist. Even if you go to Montreal, you're never going to find, I think we have 400 reviews with 5 stars. You leave the reviews, that's the best restaurants I've ever had.
It gives me chill bumps just thinking about it, because you're just so forward thinking that you're probably even ahead of yourself, like the results and the reaction that people
Yes.
are giving you. It's like, great. It's a great acknowledgement. But the truth is that you're doing this because you're driven to provide what your mind knows the world needs, right?
Yes. And again, my business, helped me a little bit. I know that the biggest failure are in the restaurant. That this is, everybody knows that. Okay, so I was very lucky, and I'm very curious. So because I'm curious, I've no formal training in architecture, design, or anything. Never.
That's amazing.
But I'm designing everything. I design my own restaurant. I have someone, I'm lucky, I understand my weaknesses, and my weakness is I cannot draw. So I have someone that can interpret what I'm drawing in a 3D. So
Yeah.
for example, right now, my latest, this was last week, I said, I want to have a Japanese tea house.
Yeah.
And in 2 days, I'm going to have my design finished, and I'm going to do this as well. But my ideas are just flowing. Coming back to the restaurant, I knew that it couldn't be too big, because I don't know. I never had a chef. I never had a restaurant. How do you manage when you have 60 seats? So I did a 30 seats, restaurant. It had to be magical, to be able to, as I was saying, take you somewhere else, make you travel. You're in Japan. When you're in my restaurant, you're in Japan.
Yeah.
Okay? And the food is in Japan, and everything you could be in Japan. And this is actually, what I think we're doing. We're providing different experiences. I've been influenced by Japan a lot. As I was told you, my spa is called Ono Spa, and it's the same thing. Everything is about Japan, and it's to make people travel in different places.
Yeah, and have different experiences. Let me ask you, of the property that you're working with, how many people can be on your property at a time? Like, what's the guest number for people to understand how intimate or larger this is?
Yeah, first off, it's a very big piece of land. On purpose, I think space is is the actual luxury. Okay, so for me, I kept imagine 100 acres. Okay, on which I can dispatch those little domes and pods. which is everybody has a lot of space. You mostly don't see your neighbors. Right now we have 42 units, which we have around 100 people that can come. And the great thing is we're totally, how can I say, because we're so different. Uh, I kind of knew it and I didn't know it at the same times by providing the reason why I did so different models. I have 30 different models of pods and domes. Okay. Why? Because I said, I want people to come back and experience something else.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
and since I'm telling a story, if I've done only domes, okay, how many times can you talk about domes? I mean, you're going to say 10 times. Right now, my storytelling is infinite. Okay, because I have 30 different models. I created another 30 already that are already in place. And people come, I would see, people are coming. The first thing they do is that they take the camera and they take a photo. Okay. And they do my marketing. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's actually what I do. So we have
Oh, I
nine,
understand. No, I get it. I'm in marketing. I understand.
if you understand that, we have around 90% of our booking direct, 90. Okay. In hospitality, it's
Which
just
is great, right?
does not exist. Our Instagram account is, which is Bel Air Tremblant, is around 92,000 followers. Okay,
Wow.
which means I have more followers than the best hotels in Miami Beach. I have more followers than the ski resort because simply I've got story to tell, and my stories are cute, are nice, are diverse. We have a lot of influencers, that are calling us every single week wanting to come. So we look at them depending on their audience, and we say, sure, come. And they produce content for us that we can share, with our community. And this is just, a great experience, specifically my age. I'm not, I'm 61 years old. Instagram is not my nature things, but I enjoy that. I enjoy to learn. I enjoy being the best. And we're doing pretty well. Even as I was saying, right now we're competing head to head with 5 star hotels in Mont Tremblant. And
Yeah,
our occupancy rate is, probably 20% higher than theirs
that's
because it's
amazing. And so during COVID, were people able to just kind of I don't know what Canada was doing during COVID. In Texas, I mean, it lasted like 2 months. That was it. And then everybody was back to normal. But that's Texas. We're independent. Um, we think we're independent. But were people coming to vacation with you even during lockdown because you're so isolated?
yes, even more than anything else, and more than anything else because they couldn't stay in a hotel. They had to get out.
Yeah.
Toronto was pretty much closed, but all the Canadians from Toronto, Ottawa, or Montreal were coming to us. So was we were very very busy.
Yeah.
And it's funny that you're talking about Texas. I was last week talking with some people because again, everybody's calling me from everywhere,
Yeah.
wanting to know if I want to do something in Texas, in the rolling valleys. Is what you call
The
this?
hill country. The hill
Hill
country.
countries. Hill
That's
countries.
popular, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. To reproduce this kind of concept over there, because the reality is wherever you are, if you're in New York, if you can be an hour away from New York, you're going to want that. So I've been looking at the properties. I have a large piece of land in Asheville that I'm under contract right now, in order to actually build a brand. The brand in Canada, I mean in Montreal at least, has flown away. But right now we have in preparation the Bahamas in Eleuthera. We purchased a 55-acre piece of property to create a Bel Air, which is going to be a Bali in the Bahamas, actually. Okay, but with the same experience, and there, going on what you're saying, when you understand the trend is about health, retreats, about food, about quality of the food. So we've been, studying the specifically in the Bahamas because it's such a poor country somehow that we want to combine the social aspect to it, and also to be able to provide this to the clients. Clients
Yeah.
nowadays want hydroponic food, organic food, something that respect the environment, exactly as you said. So over there, for example, we're going to have some solar panels. We're going to retrieve water, from the rain.
Rainwater,
Yeah, we're harvesting water.
capture. Hmm.
Exactly. So that's we are incorporating all this into our project. With health, wellness. In Tremblant, it's a lot of a lot of activities that you can do, and to build something that is truly different, that is avant-garde. When people get there, they open their eyes and they just don't understand where they are.
It's another world, right?
Yeah.
That's an amazing experience. So let's just a little bit touch on when you get there. What are some of you mentioned a lot of things. You talked about the animals and restaurants. Um, I know that there's a wellness spa, but are there other amenities that we want to mention or talk about that the people are raving about when, I mean, because we'll talk about the spa. And by the way, listeners, we're going to be talking with the spa CEO in just a little bit. So you'll have another episode to come listen to about the spa as well. But are there other things besides the spa or that you want to talk about to let people know all the things they can do? Like, do y'all do bike riding or what all do y'all?
Yes, we are. Mont Tremblant it's a fantastic region because there's so much. You're talking about water. You have hundreds of lakes all around, and actually, we do have a lake on the property. So we have kayak, paddle boards on our lake. But then you have other lakes where you can, in Mont Tremblant, Lac Tremblant, you can do water skiing, windsurf. This is a triathlon, destination. So in August, we're going to do the Ironman there. So
Oh,
yeah, so you see people biking all the time. Uh, Anything that you want. I mean, this is also why it's so popular. You have four golfs all around, tennis courts, fishing, rafting, anything.
what is the best months of the season for people who don't want to be caught in the snow? Because I did see one photo that was like covered in snow. So, what is the non-snow season?
I mean, actually, from May usually is a bit, a little bit quieter. May, November, a little bit quieter. I would say from June to October is just magnificent. If you like to see the season, I think behind your back, this is like you have the beautiful foliage. I mean, this most magnificent views, because again, you don't realize. I think Quebec is as big as Texas. It's huge. Okay, it's huge. So you don't see nobody. It's not that you're going to be in Aspen with a lot of people. You barely see anybody.
Yeah,
This is
that's
this is
amazing.
the that's the beauty about this. Yes. So the foliage is October, November, I mean, September, October, depending on the time. The summer are just magnificent. I mean, really, when I say it's a 10-month destination, and from May to October, the weather is fantastic.
Yeah, good. So, is there anything that, aside from us talking about, do you want to mention anything about the Wellness Center? Or do you want to leave that all up to Aramel?
I would talk, maybe I'll say a word of two,
Yeah, sure,
and
please.
then a letter do. I truly believe, and this has been coming from my whole experience, that right now, uh, again, it's not a clinic, okay, but I believe that being in a right location is conducive toward taking the right measure for your life, and if you're aligned with the right professional. Or professionals, you can actually prolong your life if you make the right choice as far as exercising, eating, uh, uh, and the place like this is just magnificent because if people want to lose weight, for example, with the retreat, well, stay for a week there, and you're going to lose everything that you want to lose with the right chef. So for me, having the quality people is very, very important. And to finish with that, we are in the middle of getting our new. One of my latest project coming in was be to create a wellness village. So I'm taking 3 acres of my land. We're getting the approval as we speak, and we're creating little buildings. So rather than having little, like a 5,000 square foot facility, I'm gonna have a 600 square foot, massage pod with 3 massages rooms, and I'm gonna have another one. Then you're gonna walk in between the forest and the tree, and then you're gonna go to the salt bath, and then the water plunge, and then the sauna, and then the steam bath, and then so the whole thing will have a very strong resort, spa connotation, attractions.
I love that. And I'm sitting here thinking, how do you decide where you want to live? Because do you live in Quebec in this area?
No, actually, I live in Miami.
And that's better than what you're describing.
No,
Because
it's not
what you're
better.
describing sounds like heaven.
Well, let me tell you something, Lydia. My thing is I'm falling in love very easily with the areas. So I went to Canada once, at Mont Tremblant, to ski, and I ended up buying a piece of land there in '97, where I built my house. Then I went to the Bahamas, and I loved it. And I can understand beauty. And I buy a house. I said, I'm going to build a house. So I buy a piece of land I like to create. And when I do build a house, I said, it's easy, or it's hard. If it's easy, this tells me let's do business. If it's hard, I said, did I do all this for that? So I'll always find a justification to create a new business where I'm going. So
You are so blessed to be able in this lifetime to manifest and create all of the dreams that are happening in your head. I mean, what a great opportunity for you to be able to do that. So that's with a lot of hard work, and it's not easy to create. I just keep saying that because, as I told you, I worked with a hydroponic farm. We were the first vertical farm in Texas, and there's a lot of challenges that come with being the first at something. It's really challenging. So I really just honor you and respect you so much for what you've been doing and creating. And you're definitely making the listeners want to go figure out how they can book an opportunity to come see your place. So is there anything that you want to share with me that I haven't asked you about that should be part of this episode?
no, I think again, the only thing, exactly as you said, realizing your dream that you had or that you did not have is just a fantastic, possibility and a fantastic experience. And again, when I started, I did not know, to tell you the truth, it was a mixed project. It was residential and resort. And I thought that I would be just doing the residential. I didn't want to do the hotel part. And now the other thing I want to do is I want to do the hotel part because it's so fulfilling. It's so nice. As we speak, I'm going to create 2 other restaurants because I believe intensely into scalability. When you scale your dreams, when you scale your ideas, when you test market your ideas, this is where you minimize your risk. So right now, having opened up the Eki Sushi restaurant, and having received all this, compliments and the fact that we're the best restaurant, so
Yeah.
I could prove that a restaurant in the mountain would work. So I'm getting the approval for a second restaurant, which is a teppanyaki restaurant. Same concept. The table, the benihana kind of thing.
Oh, the Benihana. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Why? Because I know I'm not going to be able to open a pizza, okay, and have people coming here. They can have pizza anywhere. But the experience of the eki sushi or the teppanyaki, I know that people will come because I proved it once, so I'm going to prove it a second time.
And I'm sure you'll hire the best who do
Yes, I already have them.
because then it's an entertainment, right? It becomes
Yeah.
entertainment for the night,
Yes,
right? With
yes,
all the things they're able to do.
absolutely. And the last
Yes.
thing, that we got approved to. That's what I'm saying. It's endless, but it's fun at the same time for me because I'm just let myself go. We creating what is called la bergerie, and la bergerie. It's kind of it's inside our prairie. We're going to build a 4,000 square feet facility for a restaurant that will be surrounded with our animals. Okay, so it's going to be very farm to table kind of things, rustic. And again, the idea is if you go to our Mont Tremblant, there's not a sexy place or farm place or where you can have brunch or you can have So this is what we're doing right now. We get this approved. So we have 2 restaurants that will come. We have our wellness program, and then we'll keep adding some more units. So it's going to take good.
I love it. I love what you stand for, and I love what you're all about. I just, as a side note, I worked as the marketing director for the greenest restaurant in the USA. That means we did more things than any other restaurant to be sustainable and to respect the planet, because the restaurant industry is one of the largest contributors to waste with single-use plastics and single-use individual packaging and stuff. And so it's so neat, because I'm sure you're going to be as sustainable as possible up there in that natural environment. So that is so awesome. Before we go, I want to just click on here. I have a way of sharing the website. I want to see if I can pull that up. Can you see that on the screen?
Me, no.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me see something. All right, I want to just make sure I'm doing it properly. I wanted to see if, oh well, I'll do it another time. I was going to see if I could show the, oh wait, here, this is what I'm looking for. There we go. Okay, so there's the screen with the website on it. And I was hoping to run, so here's the dome. I was hoping to run the, I was just going to see if I could click around and see a few things that you were talking about for the guest on the video. Okay, so that's the whole property right there. Oh, you said you couldn't see it. That's right. All right, I don't want to. So everybody go over to Bel Air, BelAirTremblant.com, and you've got to check out this amazing place. It is just so amazing. Eric, I am so glad to, number one, meet you, and number two, to help the world learn about what you're up to and what you're doing and how you're doing it differently, and how maybe you'll inspire other people to be more conscientious about nature and, you know, building, you know, concepts that respect the land, right? Instead of tearing it up. Yes. Right. So thank you so much for your time today, Eric. And I'm going to invite you back for a recording for, we'll talk about the Bahamas next time. How about that?
Fantastic. I'll be happy.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. We hope you enjoyed the show today. And if you'd like to be a guest on the Global Travel Junkie podcast and YouTube channel, reach out to us at our Contact Us form at globaltraveljunkie.com. We hope to see you out traveling. Adios. Ciao. Au revoir.